the time has come to change the water filter. This has been a little bit overdue. We probably should have done it a couple of weeks ago. These filters are supposed to last for the whole season, but that's not counting for people like us that are full-timers. You can see all that brown stuff when I turn the spigot on. That's the reason why we need to have a water filter on the water source, and it's come time for me to change our water filter. I'm going to be putting a new one in today. These here are by Camco, and they're supposed to last the whole season, but that's usually for weekenders or something like that. So even though it hasn't been the whole season yet, I'm going to go ahead and change it anyway, because this water is pretty dirty. At times it's got some sediment in it or something, and I'm going to be replacing the filter so that we can have much better water. Just to show you, this is what has been in the water. I mean, that is pretty disgusting. And so yeah, this filter definitely needs to be changed. Okay, I got the new water filter on there. This here is a water pressure regulator to keep the water pressure from being too strong. Some people put this where the water goes into the camper. I'm putting mine here right next to the spigot. It works good either way, as long as it's protecting your pipes on your camper. You just want to regulate the pressure. And you also notice that I've got a split here for the spigot, so that if I need to wash something off or do something or clean out the hose, which I've got a hose going to right now, or something like that, then I don't have to cut off our water supply in order to use this. I just use these two little valves right here to where I can have one on and one off, or vice versa. Now, we don't have a sewer hookup, but for our gray water, which is basically nothing more than soapy water, Lisa's uncle is letting us run a hose out there down into the woods, and that's where the gray water goes, which is convenient for us. So as far as our gray water, we just let it flow down into the woods, and then when it comes time to empty the black tank, that's what I use the poop tank for. Now, when it comes to our drinking water, we have one of these. This is a WaterWise. You can get these on Amazon. This is a water purifier, and it works really well. We are out of filters at the moment, so we are having to use bottled water at the moment. But these are really cool, and you can get them on Amazon, and I will put a link in the description to show you how to get one. Another ritual that we're going to have to go through is refilling the propane. It's come that time. We've still got some propane left in this tank to last us for a while, but this one has recently run empty, so we're going to go ahead and take this one out to refill, so that when this one is empty, this one will be full. So that's how we like to do it, where we just run off of one tank or the other. And this one is completely shut off. Okay, and this is going to be taken to get refilled. I'll tighten this one back down and put the cover back on. will say our propane did very well, because this one tank lasted us for 2 months before it went empty, and we've been running this thing constantly for the hot water heater, and so it's done very well for us. It's time to get it refilled, and hopefully this one should last us for another 2 months. So we really are not that desperate to get these refilled, but it's better to be well prepared ahead of time, just in case. Sorry about the air conditioner noise, but it's just way too hot to not have it on right now. But some of you have been asking about our renovations and how they've held up after us living full-time in this camper. Some of the things have gone really well. The floor is doing very well, except for one spot, and I'll show that to you just right now. Okay, I've got this one spot right here that's near the sink. I don't know if I just didn't put it together right, or if the hot and the cold contrast and growing and shrinking of is what caused it to come apart. But that is the only spot in the entire camper that has come apart so far, and I can easily fix that. This is that it's quite an ordeal, because I'm going to have to take some of the floor back up, reposition that piece, and then put the flooring back down. And Lisa doesn't want me to get into something that big right now, so she says just wait. She says wait until we are moving into a house again to fix that, and I'll just comply with her. She doesn't want a big mess right now. One thing about living in a camper is that any mess is a big mess. That's one thing. It doesn't take much to clean it up, but it doesn't take much to mess it up either. So we try to keep everything nice and clean in here. Another thing that I'll show you is the paint that I used on the hardware, like right here, isn't sticking to the metal very well. I used a cheaper brand of paint, thinking that it wouldn't have made a difference, but places where the hands come in contact with it quite a bit is starting to come off of the hardware. My goal is to just go ahead and replace all of the hardware rather than trying to repaint it again. I'm just going to replace it, and probably instead of going with a black like we've done before, we might go with more of a pewter finish that would go along better with the grays that we've got in here. Now, I've shown you the swivel for the TV before. It is working out really great. Whenever we're traveling, I just lock it into place right here, and that's what keeps this from moving whenever we are traveling. But when we want to watch the TV, we can swing it around like that, and it works out really well. My son plays his video games on this TV, and that's the reason why it's got the control bar up here for the Wii. He just taped it on there, and it works out fine. This swivel was just made out of some spare pieces of wood that I had lying around when we had a house, and I put a couple of hinges in this section, and I bolted it with a heavy-duty hinge in through the wall. Now these bolts over here go all the way through the wall, so and they're going right through a stud, so it is very secure, very strongly put in there, so that I don't have to worry about the swivel not being able to hold the TV, because it holds the TV just fine. Well, the sun's starting to set, so we're going to go ahead and have some dinner. We're going to grill out again tonight. So So we're going to call it a day, and we'll see you next time.